Falls mom sharing a story tonight involving an incident with her son as a safety alert for other parents.
You may have seen her post on Facebook. She found her son locked in a bathroom alone with an older man. Digital producer Donovan Miner is standing by at the Now Desk with more on this situation. Donovan, good evening.
Good evening, Brian and Andrea. Heather Ganifke was dropping off a car to get new tires at a local tire shop. Two of her children needed to use the restroom. When they got inside, Heather waited for the children before she had left to show an employee what car needed to be serviced. Now, when she returned, her daughter came out of the women's restroom and her son was still in the men's room. Heather called out for the child but discovered that the men's bathroom was locked. After several minutes, an older man had come out of the bathroom and her child ran out after him. The mother confronted the man, but he tried to leave. An employee stopped the man from leaving the store and waited with him until police arrived.
I just pray that this doesn't happen to anyone, and we don't know the severity of it, and we might not, but we don't want this to happen to anyone ever, and that people are aware that this is happening, and it happened right here in our town that feels safe to me.
Now, police did question the man, but since there was no evidence of a crime, they didn't arrest him. Heather says she wants to share her story as a reminder for all parents to keep an eye on their children. We'll share more of her story tomorrow. Live at the First Alert Now Desk, Donovan Miner, Dakota News Now.
All right, Donovan, thank you.